You're listening to the World's Team Podcast. It's not just America's team, Cowboys Nation. It's the world's team. Now, here are your hosts, Paul Stewart and Mike Poland.
How about them Cowboys?
Hello everyone, welcome back to the World's Team Podcast, brought to you by the Believe Network, powered by FanDuel Sportsbook and sponsored by Cowboys Experience for the ultimate game day experience, tailgate and stadium tours, all the above. Be sure to go to www.cowboysexperience.com and use the discount code WorldsTeam2025. I am your host, Paul Stewart, and I am joined as always by my brother-in-arms, Mr. Mike Poland. We can find him on bloggingtheboys.com. Check out his articles. He knows his stuff, especially when it comes to the draft, and that's something we're going to be talking about very, very soon, Mike.
It's coming up. That's coming up.
Yeah, but how we doing?
Yeah, good. I mean, like, Christmas is coming, so everybody's calendars with everything when it comes to the shows is all over the shop. So, but we'll find time. You always find time for the Cowboys and the fans of the show as well. You always find time.
Absolutely, man. Well, we are going into this season now. Like, literally, we could be knocked out before we even play a game. Well. While we're playing, actually.
Yeah. Theoretically.
Yeah, in theory. But it's not looking great right now.
No, I mean, we covered the Minnesota loss, and I think that one, I know there's obviously losses in the before the season, Panthers, Arizona, they stung, but that one hurt because that felt like a nail in the coffin. Not the final one. The final one is whatever happens this weekend. But basically what it is now is we're essentially, the way I look at it is that, all right, most people are like, oh, look, the season's done. Yeah, there's a 1% chance. So basically what we are now is it's a 1 week season. So Eagles lose, Cowboys win. Right. On to the next week. It's another week. So it's essentially the way to look at it is it's 0-0, but if you go 0-1 or the Eagles go 1-0, season's over.
Yeah, pretty much so. It feels like sudden death, essentially.
Yeah.
Put it in soccer terms for our American viewers.
There you go.
But that's the way we would kind of see it. Like, it's literally like it is like a penalty shootout, essentially.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah. But yes, folks, we are going to be playing against the Los Angeles Chargers. So just to give you a bit of brief history about our matchup with the Chargers, the first game between the Chargers and the Cowboys took place in 1972, where the Cowboys won 34-28. And our most recent meeting came back from October 16, 2023, with the Cowboys winning 20-17. And in terms of the largest margin of victory, goes to the Chargers over the Cowboys, which was 22 points, achieved during a 28-6 win on November 23rd, 2017, a game that I was at. And that was the game, I believe, that Jeff Heath was our kicker for that game.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, you think you're right. Yeah.
Yep. So I was there because that week, obviously, there was the Thanksgiving game, and there was was it Thanksgiving? Must have. Yeah, that was the Thanksgiving game, actually, November 23rd. Yeah, it was. And in terms of the game before that, on the Sunday, it was the Eagles. So it was like Sunday night, then Thursday night football. So that was the two games I went to. So my first ever game was going to see the Cowboys versus the Eagles, which we lost that game. Then I went to the Thanksgiving game against the Chargers, and we lost that one as well. So it wasn't a good start on my part, like going to AT&T Stadium for the first time. But in terms of the head-to-head record, though, Mike, total games played, the Cowboys and Chargers have played 13 times, where the Cowboys are in overall favorites in terms of they've won 8 out of those 13 games. Total points scored in the history, the Cowboys have scored 296 points compared to the Chargers 295, which really indicates a very close competition overall?
Yeah. The biggest issue I have with this game is the Chargers are on 10 wins, Cowboys on 6, but the Cowboys are actually favorites to win this game, and we know what me and you think when the Cowboys are favorites.
It's so funny that you mentioned it. When I was looking at our FanDuel Sportsbook odds for the Cowboys game, and I saw that the Cowboys were favorites, I'm like, oh no, not again, please. So where we're in that topic, Mike, we'll get this over with.
Yeah,
So
go for it. Yeah.
So with the FanDuel Sportsbook sports odds, in terms of the spread, the Cowboys are minus 2.5 favorites, setting their odds at minus 108, and the Chargers set at 2.5 plus at minus 112. In terms of the money line, Cowboys are minus 134, Chargers are plus 114. And the over and under is set at 49.5, with the under being minus 105 and the over being minus 115. So they have a slight advantage, thinking it's going to be under 49.5 points, essentially.
Yeah. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I don't know either, to be honest with you, mate. I hate it. I really hate it.
Yeah.
Like, whenever we're mentioned as favorites, I'm just like, oh no.
Yeah,
no,
here we go again.
Here we go again. And folks, if you're tuning in here for the first time here on the Worst Team, please make sure to give us a little like, hit that subscribe button, follow us on all of our social media platforms. We're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and also follow the Believe Network as well. And if there's one thing me and Mike always tend to say when it comes to the sporting odds, it does not always go in our favor, we've noticed.
Yeah.
Like, especially when it comes to the Cowboys being favorites. We definitely learned that lesson the hard way last week, where the Cowboys were 6.5 points favorites going into the game against Minnesota. So
heavy favorites.
Very heavy favorites in comparison, yeah. So,
favorites with the Panthers. Favorites with Arizona. And then here's the funny bit is heavy underdogs against the Eagles, heavy underdogs against the Chiefs.
Point proven. Whenever we're the underdogs, we seem to be playing much better.
The maths.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I really don't know. But let's just dive straight into it, mate. What is your initial thoughts going into this game? Are we nervous? What are we thinking here?
Okay, I'm not actually nervous. Okay. As we say, the season is kind of like about to come to an abrupt end for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So I'm not nervous, but I feel fairly confident that the Cowboys actually win this one. Although we just mentioned about them being favorites. The reason being that the Chargers' offensive line is in big trouble.
Yeah, I believe they're one of the top teams to be given not the most sacks, I believe. I think they're like second worst, I believe.
Yeah. They're giving up 51 sacks.
Yeah, and that's without Rashawn Slater and Joe all on that team right now.
Yeah, they're on IR.
Yeah, so they're missing key pieces to that offensive line. I mean, but make me no mistake, and you know as far as I do, I'm not really the biggest fan of Justin Herbert, but in his recent performances with that injured hand, he has really changed my perception of him. Like, I'd gotta give him his props. He has been playing very well with that injury, and he's helping the Chargers, helping Jim Harbaugh to where they are right now. They're 2 wins behind Denver right now. If Denver was to fall off the cliff, the Chargers could sneak up and get it, because we know the Chiefs and obviously the Raiders in their division are obviously out.
Yeah.
So, and this is actually really weird to say. The Chiefs are not going to the playoffs in the first time in 6-7 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're done.
crazy.
They're out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy to think of that. And obviously, we know about the Patrick Mahomes injury, like we saw last week, which was horrible, and we wish
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes all the best in his recovery. We hate to see that as
Mm.
well. But looking into this game, Mike, what? Obviously, we know the news about this guy came out of Dallas with Brian Schottenheimer mentioned about Brian Eberflus, and even Eberflus even came out to say, "Yeah, I'm going to be in the box, up in the stands." What does that indicate going into this game?
Um, you could look at it one of two ways. That it's one side, Eberflus going, maybe if I'm up there, I can get with the analytics a bit better. I've got more time to concentrate. The other way to look at this is Schottenheimer's just like, just get out my face. Because we saw in the Minnesota game,
Oh, yeah.
we saw the outcry from
Yeah,
Schottenheimer as he walked past Eberflus on that third down attempt down in the red zone.
yeah. Do you
And
want
he
to
had to call the timeout.
Yeah, do you want to reiterate exactly what happened for our viewers that don't are not aware of it?
Yeah, so it was a third down play down in the Cowboys red zone. The Vikings were getting into position to play. Defense kind of looking semi-confused, but also fairly out of position in what it is you would want to do in the red zone. And before the play was called, Schottenheimer on the sideline calls a timeout. Goes to the camera on the sideline. Schottenheimer's walking past Eberflus. You can see he's using blue vocabulary. Yeah. But essentially, he's walking past asking Eberflus, what are we doing? With not so many words, with more words than what I'm saying.
Yeah, you can add your own context in that sentence, and
Yeah.
you can imagine what was said. So, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to even like lip read what was said. So, not good, not
No.
good at all. Um, and obviously with that result last week, the hot seat is just even increasingly going more on Eberflus right now. Like, I mean, for me, it's too little, too late to change
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
We're on the verge of being eliminated from playoffs, pretty much. If you were to say we were still like 40% chance of making the playoffs, then yeah, that would have been more of a coaching decision, trying to get a better overview and stuff like that, etc.,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
I get that, but at this point, right now, it kind of feels like a bit of a punishment from my point of view. Like my opinion, really. Like, I just kind of feel like, yeah, just like you said, it's like it's either two things. Either he wants to get more better bird's eye view of how offenses are lined up, or the fact that Brian Schottenheimer says, just get out of my face, pretty much. I think it's the latter, personally.
I mean, but based on what we saw last week with the reaction, and you've got to think that Schottenheimer has to be frustrated because
Absolutely.
the Cowboys' offense is number one in the NFL. You've got the best offense. You landed yourself
Dak is topping the charts. Dak's topping like the most statistics as the quarterback right now. The only thing really is outside that is the rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. Really.
Yeah. I mean, like, we talked last week about the issues with the Cowboys running game. That sure, Javonte Williams has been good. It's been great, but his supporting cast beyond that has kind of been lackluster. When you think they've gone through, we now got Malik Davis. They tried Jaden Blue. We started the season with the ex-Eagles running back. His name has escaped me a minute. Miles Sanders. Thank you very much. They've tried to put something into it. Nothing has really come to, it's been to no avail. So that's been the issue with the running game. Go on.
But
yes,
in terms of, if there's some good news, Mike, we do have an injury update when it comes to Phil Maffa.
I know, and we've talked about him.
And this is the guy that I was more excited for coming out the draft than Jaden Blue.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so now that he's back in a questionable state, like, he's in that 21-day window essentially.
Yeah.
But what I'll do, we will talk about Phil Math in a wee second, but what I'll do now, I will mention the full injury report. So
Yeah, go for it.
as it stands right now, well, based on Friday's injury reports provided by both teams, by the Chargers and the Cowboys. On the Cowboys side, DeLone Bland and Tyler Guyton is out for this game, so that is massive in terms of the secondary. In terms of players that are questionable, Josh Butler, Kalen Carson, Trevon Diggs, Hunter Lupke, Phil Maffa, Peyton Turner, and Quinnen Williams are questionable. On the Chargers side of the ball, Darius Davis, wide receiver, and safety RJ Mickens is out for the Chargers. That's good for likes of Dak Prescott if he maybe wants to kind of throw more deep ball. I guess that might be something where Lamb and etc. could actually maybe expose that. But in terms of the questionable list, Bud Dupree, Quentin Johnson, Elijah Molden, Trey Pickens III, and Tarea Tart, are questionable.
Yeah. Pipkins is an interesting one because that goes back to our point of the issues. With the offensive line. If that happens, they're down to essentially a third stringer because Pipkins has come in to help replace the pieces that have already gone to injured reserve. The other big one is Quentin Johnson. I find that quite interesting because he's a deep threat. He's the big vertical stretch guy. Cowboys, especially when you look at the Minnesota game, the issues in the secondary was the deep ball. It's the explosive plays. It's those deep explosive plays they have trouble with. If Quentin Johnson is left on the sideline, then you're gonna have to go down to their rookie wide receiver that they drafted this year. And although he's speedy, the dude's only caught, I think, like 2 passes this year. So that's a lot on the line for a guy like Justin Herbert, who's essentially behind an offensive line that ranks 32nd in pass block win rate this season.
That's not good.
Yeah, how are you getting that ball out? That's the problem.
It makes you wonder how on earth are the Chargers are 10-3 right now.
I know.
Based on that, then you have to make me. If that's the case, you then need to look at the defensive side of the ball, which we will dive into. But very interesting, you do mention about Quentin Johnson. With him being questionable, say he doesn't play, and now we're obviously with Justin Herbert still kind of basically using his weak arm to play, essentially. You have to kind of wonder, like, is the deep ball basically out the question for the Chargers going into this game?
It could be if Quentin Johnson's not in there, you know? I mean, it's an interesting issue to have. I know they've still got other pieces. They've got Keenan Allen, who's a veteran, runner extraordinaire.
And to be fair, he seems to be rejuvenated since coming back to the Chargers after being in Chicago. Like he's had one of his better seasons.
Yeah. He's played better this season. I know age is against him and all of that, but they've still got pieces that they've got to deal with. I don't know on the Cowboy side what's going to happen in terms of Diggs, because it's like a yo-yo. You try and ask the questions over in Dallas, like me and you talk to them. They're as much in the dark as we are, and I think so is the
even Jane Slater was
Jane Slater.
Yeah, even Jane Slater, who works for the actual NFL.
And ironically, Jane Slater addressed, and the rumor came out. I'm not going to even entertain what this rumor is. I'm not going to go into details because it's diabolical, and it's not a very nice rumor. But if you remember, we got told when we were in Dallas about a rumor that went around about Neelam. Me and you completely ignored it straight away.
Yeah.
And there's suspicion on the line with things. And Slater, in fairness, addressed it and was just like, anyone who does this, you're not a good person, which is why I'm not about to entertain it. So I think that's not the issue. I think the issue is that there is an argument. What this is based on things from conversations. So don't don't go.
Don't take it with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, because everything's in the dark with Diggs. Is the most sensible answer that I've managed to get is that yes, there is a medical issue or an injury history or injury issue with Diggs, but there's also an issue that he has, not so much in personality, but in personnel, that he doesn't like the defense that's being drawn up, and he says that it doesn't fit his play style. And there's been a bit of a to and fro. And because a lot of people are like, well, what is going on? The closest answer I can get is that Diggs does have an injury, but he also has an issue with the way the defense is being played and that it does not fit his style. And so it's this double-edged issue going on there at the moment.
It just makes you wonder why on earth we're paying his contract if you can't play multiple styles.
I mean, yeah. Yeah. It's difficult. It's so tricky because I understand. I get what on one side with Diggs, because we're all frustrated with Eberflus.
We all
and
are, yeah.
You know, if it's in the cards that Diggs is going to be traded or they're going to get rid of him next season, why would you want to put bad tape for this year? So people will go, well, what was his most recent game? And they'll watch it and they'll watch the secondary get exposed because of the linebacker issues. And then he's got to go into interviews explaining and trying to basically be like, well, listen, without sounding like a shitbag, the issue was it was the way the defense was being played. And then that makes you look bad. So it's a difficult situation to be in.
Yeah, just be careful with your cuss words there.
I know, yeah, it came out. It came out.
Yeah, so apologies there, folks. We do try and keep it very PG as much as we can.
Yeah, sometimes it slips out.
Yeah, yep. So, but yeah, just going into this game also, obviously, we just kind of mentioned Quinnen Williams is also questionable. That's massive as well, because obviously with the Chargers, they've got Marion Hampton back in the fold with the Chargers. He seems to be looking pretty good. Like, will this now kind of affect our run defense? Because let's be honest, our run defense has probably much been the best positive in the past couple of weeks, despite the losses. Like, in reality, like, we held Aaron Jones to only 34 yards, under 12 carries. Like, we held the Eagles really down to a bare minimum, even the Chiefs as well.
Yeah.
Like, there's been some really great performances in terms of the run defense. Yeah, stopping the run. Do you think that
the inside defensive line has done its part? Osa's gotten better throughout the season. Kenny Clark's made his standpoint, but the addition of Quinnen Williams has definitely changed things, and you've seen that difference. And like you say, you mentioned those games; they're all games post-trade. You know, once Williams comes in, so that is the good side. But I wonder how much they are trying to stop the run, because if you look at the defensive ends, the Cowboys' edge group, they're getting very little pressure at the moment. I know we addressed some of the pressure issues.
Well, glad that you mentioned it. Now knowing the stats and statistics of knowing what this offensive line for the Chargers is like, I kind of mentioned this on the UK Cowboys fans about where from what I've seen so far, it seems to be more like the offensive line have an issue with speed, more so than like dealing with defensive ends with more power and stuff like that. Like So is this the game where we will get to see Donovan Ezra to get more than one sack in this game? Me personally, I would like to think so.
Yeah, I mean, based on the fact that the offensive line for the Chargers is so bad, particularly, it's really across the line. I was going to say particularly that it's really across everywhere. I know they have one piece that isn't bad, one of their guards, but we'll get onto that. But they're 32nd, as I say, in pass block win rate. They're 31st in run block win rate. So they're bad at both. So a guy like Donovan Izaraku coming out from like a wide 9 position, you think he'd be able to use that speed and motor?
Use that speed to really put the pressure on Herbert.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you're on the strong side.
Yes.
And hopefully Clowney being on the weak side where he can be in the containment would actually help isolate and prevent likes of Justin Herbert to run, keep him inside that pocket rather than try and escape. So I hope that's the combination we do see out there. That's my wishful thinking going into this game.
Yeah, and like, you know, you think on Clowney on that side as well, that's going to clog up Amarian Hampton, who's come back from injury, because you've got to slow him down as well. Otherwise, it's a tough day.
Yeah, that's my concern is if Hampton gets an opportunity to break up to the second level, he's going to be really, really difficult to stop. And now knowing what our linebackers are like, especially, and I don't want to single out anyone in our linebackers, but it's a concern. It's a massive concern.
Yeah, definitely. The linebackers at the moment are the biggest, weakest spot. Last week, I did a write-up of linebackers the Cowboys can take in the first round. It's my first draft article of the year. And it was basically, it's because it's sense that the Cowboys need linebacker.
Can I ask one question though, mate? Is Jacob Rodriguez in that conversation?
He was not first round.
Well, not first round, but yeah.
Yeah. It was. I've only done first because the Cowboys have 2 first round picks, so I'm going through now each position other than quarterback.
The reason I'm saying that he's my dark horse going into this year's draft. It really is.
Yeah. No, I do like him. People keep saying about Sonny Styles. I get it, but A, I don't know if the Cowboys will get him, and B, I don't know particularly about the fit. But the fit is an argument that doesn't make sense because Matt Eberflus might not be here next year. So fit doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, either way, whether it is Eberflus next year or someone completely new, linebacker is still my number one priority.
Linebacker edge.
Linebacker edge is definitely my priority because, obviously we lost Nealand, sadly, and obviously we're basically still a man down that way. We're just missing that extra piece on the defensive ends. So I think that would be either linebacker or edge. I'd be happy with if it's in it. And don't get me wrong, corner is a big need as well. I think as long as it's defense on the first round, I'll be happy pretty much. Sorry, we're pure talking about draft right now, but anyway, back to the game we had in hand here, folks. But looking at the offense, right? So obviously we know Dak Prescott is having one of his best seasons as a Dallas Cowboy. It just feels like it's now been a wasted year on him. The fact that we just cannot get to that point, despite Dak has been playing arguably one of his best years since, I would say his best year was going to be the year before he broke his leg, because he was
was on fire. Yeah,
that he was on target to break the NFL record in terms of passing yards as the momentum was going. So, but since then, I think this has been his best season since that, other than his rookie season.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, he's been on form. I did a post this week, and it shows you Dak's passing yards and where he ranks in the league in terms of coverage. So man, cover 0, cover 1, cover 2, cover 3. And it's literally, you go through it and Dak is like,
it's like second, third, and first. And
second.
It's all in the top 5. Every single one of them.
Apart from cover 3, you know, you got to cover 3 and he's like 10th or whatever it was. But then everything else, he goes back, then it's like, it goes first, second. Then you're just like, you know, and people keep turning around, and I've done this post, and most of the people are like, are you even a Cowboy fan? Do you know football? Dak is no good. And you're just like, listen, if you do not think Dak is a good quarterback after what you have seen this year, we have nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
That's it. There's nothing to talk about. And they keep pointing to is the interceptions. And you're like, you're actually mad. I mean, like, look, I'm not saying that Dak has been a perfect quarterback, and I'm not saying that the interceptions have not been his fault. There are some that were his fault.
Yeah.
But nobody's perfect. But
Yep.
like, you can't turn around and say, "Oh, he's got all these interceptions. This is terrible." You're like, how many have come off?
The
Like,
wide receiver's hands.
yeah, and they bounced off and gone in. You know, a bumble ball, broken coverage. You know, it's like not
It's,
broken coverage, but broken
it's
line.
cherry picking more than anything.
And it's just
But-
hard. It's tough. And when it gets like that, I just tap out. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah, but we kind of talked about Phil Maffitt earlier.
Yes.
Like, so good news is Javante Williams. I'm getting mixed up all the Williams here.
There's a lot of Williamses.
Yeah, so Javante Williams did miss it. He was limited at the early part of this week in terms of like training, etc., and practices, but he's good to go, which is great news. Now, obviously, like, I don't know what the situation is when it comes to Phil Maffitt. Will he? Like, I know he is questionable, but would he be likely to feature if he was fit, or is this still part of this 21 window?
Yeah, I don't think you'll see him straight away. It'll be one of those ones where we'll probably see him in the final week or something.
Yeah, because like we kind of mentioned, like, we were, you, myself, and our good friend J Tuck from CFO Sports, we were live when this happened, and
Yeah.
we were really happy that it like literally happened in front of us for a 7th-round dropout for a really muscle ball of a running back. I'll take that any day of the week, easily. Like,
Yeah.
I much prefer the Phil Maffitt pick compared to the Jaden Blue pick. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, well, if you say like in terms of value, where you've got them in the draft, yeah. I mean, I like Martha. He's limited in what he can do.
I know, but it's the style of football I prefer as well. I'm old school. I prefer smash mouth football.
Yeah.
I'm all about that. I'm all about punishing the defense, and that's one thing that Phil Maffitt can do. We saw a glimpse of that during preseason, which is great.
Yeah.
But going into this game also, George Pickens, where are we at with him right now?
Yeah, he's a tricky. I don't think we will. I don't think we're gonna see him next year. I don't think.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think he's just too expensive.
I think, well, there could be a counter argument to that, Mike. With his recent performances, his price tag might actually drop down. There is that.
I know what you're saying.
Not much, but just saying. Let us know in the comments, folks, what you think. Do you think the Cowboys will retain George Pickens? We would love to hear from you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just looking at this game right now. I know the Chargers are 10-3 right now. They have their own problems. It still baffles me that they are 10-3 with all the issues that they have. But if there's one thing they do have a good defense. They do.
Yes.
That's the concern.
They are a good defense, and they create pressure in sneaky ways up front.
Yeah, and like I said, Khalil Mack, etc. Obviously, we just kind of mentioned, like I said, Bud Dupree, who is questionable going into this game. I mean, they do have, and obviously, it's a what's his name? The safety cornerback, Darwin James. There we go.
Darwin James. Yeah.
There we go. Almost took my breath away trying to remember his name there, but yes, he is a great player. No, there's no debating that.
Yeah.
So, in terms of what we're going to have to do in the field, I feel like we're going to have to, like, if you want to kind of show some urgency, a little bit of fight going into this game, Lamb, Pickens really need to kind of really put the pressure on him. And even with the forgotten man, Ryan Flournoy, who has been getting
Stepping
better.
it up.
He's
Yeah.
stepping it up week by week. He's getting more touches, and we and do you remember what I said during the 53-man roster? We were all shocked about Jalen Tolbert being part of the group, right? We were all shocked about that. But I did say way back, it's like, listen, I will tell you right now, Ryan Flournoy would be at that point being the number 3 wide receiver.
Yeah. Talbot never made sense to me. I mean, I was vocal about that from the start. But yeah, Flournoy definitely, certainly I would say in maybe the last 3 weeks has proven
He's
himself.
really stepped up, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do we expect him to be featured more into this game?
More than likely, yeah. I mean, like, I know Turpin still has his input, but the fact that we talk so highly of Flournoy is also the reason why Pickens, to go back to what you were saying with Pickens, is another reason why they will look to not re-sign Pickens, because A, he's going to cost 30 to 35 mil, and you've got Flournoy, who has just literally has gone from strength to strength in the last month.
Yep.
So I think what they're going to do, you talk about will Flournoy be featured more? The answer is yes, because they're going to want to see what do we have in Flournoy and weigh that up with the pros and cons of Pickens in the off season.
A big debate in this off season, regardless.
Yeah. So depending how Pickens does, how Flournoy does in the next few weeks, being featured more. Yeah, and if you see him being featured more, it's a tell. That's like you're like, okay, they're putting him through his paces and they're trying to see if this is a consistency thing that they can keep continuing on with into 2026.
Yeah.
And then that will be your tell on what their thoughts are with Pickens going into a re-signing stage next season.
Well, with that being said, though, Mike, what are the keys to victory for the Dallas Cowboys going into this game against the Los Angeles Chargers?
Yeah, offense is quick passing, and you've got to establish the play action. If you can do that, you eliminate the Chargers' pass rush, and it opens the door. So it's kind of reverse of what we wanted them to do in Minnesota. By doing that, it opens the door then for Javonte Williams to just start striking holes.
Yeah.
He runs through. On defense, it's get to Herbert.
Yeah. Like, you couldn't have asked for not a perfect scenario with them giving up like the second most sacks in the NFL and with a quarterback that's pretty much thrown with his weak arm in this game.
Yeah.
So the blind side's completely changed now, essentially. You're now more targeting the right tackle than the left tackle in this game. So that's a tell as well. So could this be a game for Izaraku? Even the games for our interiors to really put pressure in the inside in the pass rush. Who knows? But no, I totally agree. I think this is the game for our defensive line to really kind of step it up. But with that, but now that we kind of thought about it, let's just hit straight into it, Mike. It's the final parts of the show, the part where everyone wants to know. What's the score predictions going into this game for the Dallas Cowboys versus the Los Angeles Chargers?
I got the Cowboys. I mentioned at the start, it may upset the listeners. I got the Cowboys winning. And I think the Cowboys win it 28-24.
For me, I just don't have that confidence in Eberflus at all. I really don't. That's the defining factor in this game. Knowing that Bland is out, there's other Quentin Williams might be not featured in this game also, and in terms of the running game, in terms of their offense, our offense, if we can execute the way we want to, I've got the Cowboys losing this game, and it pains me to say that, but knowing the history, fool me once, you're not going to fool me twice. by going based on the favorites. I'm sticking to my guns by going based on our our little conspiracy theory when it comes to betting odds.
Yeah.
So they're saying we're favorites. I'm saying we're going to lose. So I've got the Cowboys losing 27-21.
Okay.
Yep. But now the really fun part, Mike. Bowl predictions, Chris. This should be interesting because you're going for a win. I'm going
Yes.
for a loss in this one.
Okay.
So what is your bowl prediction?
My bold prediction is Kevontae Turpin kickoff return for a touchdown.
All right. Okay.
He came close last week, but it got called back for a holding penalty.
Yeah. What was it? Wynway Thomas it caused it?
I might have been. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But I mean, Kevontae literally went one way, wheeled it all the way around the field, got it up to midfield, and you were like, oh, yes. Only for it to go back.
My bold prediction is I'm going to go for I do have a gut feeling Ezra Racker is going to have a game this week with this defensive line. So I'm going to go with 2 sacks for Ezra Racker in this game.
Nice.
Yep.
I like it.
And we want to see that growth and development from him. That's something that's going to really excite us for next year, help us with the evaluation for next year as well. Yeah. So I'm fully on board with Ezra Racker getting 2 sacks in this game. So
I can see it.
That's my bold prediction. All right, Mike, hit me with it with your would your rattles. if there's any. Because we're not too sure what we want in this game, really.
It is a difficult one, but I just spoke about Kevontae Turpin, and we also spoke about obviously backup running back Malik Davis. So my question is, who would you want to see in this game? Because whether it's win or lose, we're thinking about 2026. So in this game, who do you want to see get the most yards?
Out of Turpin and Davis?
Yes. So in terms of Turpin receiving and Davis rushing.
I'm going to say Davis, and I'll tell you why.
Go.
Because to me, Turpin hasn't really excelled the expectation in terms of what we all thought he was going to be by being featured more on the actual offense. To me, he's still more of a special teams returner specialist.
Yeah.
But I want to see more from Davis to kind of give, like Schottenheimer, a good reason to bring him back. Like to really build a foundation running back group for next year. So I want to see more from Davis in that regard. So that's
what
my
I'm thinking.
Yeah, so that's my logical thinking behind that.
Yeah. I think they still definitely need, and they don't need one high, a day 3 running back. I think they still need one. They need something that can come in and continue the same pace as Javonte Williams does when he's on the field. And yeah, so I'm like, if we can get Davis to get up to it, it just means that becomes less of a priority in the draft.
Yep, totally.
And
I mean, we'll be doing once the season's fully over. We're in full draft mode. We'll be doing mock drafts. We're hopefully going to get special guests coming onto the show. Where we've got some guys coming from Dallas Radio 105.3 The Fan coming on.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of good stuff coming up for the next year, ladies and gentlemen. But it's a weird one, Mike. I've got a loss. You've got a win. If the Eagles win, we're out anyway. It kind of feels like we're just shrugging our shoulders at this point. It's like, But before we do go, Mike, anything else you want to say before we finish up?
All I will say is just keep the faith. I mean, I'm the ultimate optimist, and I know times are dark. Times are dark right now. So you just got to think, okay, even if the season is over, stay optimistic, keep the faith that things eventually will get better.
No, you're absolutely right there on that one, Mike. All right, folks. Be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms on X, Instagram, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, where you can listen to the audio, and here on YouTube you can actually watch this on the video format. We will have our short videos being posted on the short, like to kind of give you previews of the episode as well. But before we do go, Mike, please tell everyone where everyone can find you.
You can find me on Twitter or X at Kenfig Cowboy. That's Kenfig with a K, Cowboy with a K, and you, Mr. P.
You can find me at I am P-Stu on X and Instagram. And also, just before we do leave, we just want to give a big shout announcement to the One Star One family.
Oh, yes.
We're going to be doing a lot of collaborations with those guys from DJ Kai. Basically try to bring, the whole purpose is to bring Cowboys Nation together from wherever you are in the world, like to really celebrate and bring more fans together. And we're so proud to be part of this journey with Kai and Sherry of One Star One family. So big shout out to those guys. So, but yes, folks, the game on Sunday, not particularly looking forward to it, but we're just going to have to see how the dice rolls, essentially. But with that being said, it's not just America's team. It is the world's team. And we will see you guys next time. And go Cowboys.
That's a wrap on the World's Team Podcast. Smash that like button and hit subscribe, Cowboys Nation. This ain't just America's team, it's your team. Touchdown! It's the World's Team, only on Believe, where real fans live.
How about them Cowboys?